Welcome children. Welcome to your maths class. Before I entering into the topics today's session, I'll just tell you one thing, that is you just watch this video, you listen, that is you observe properly, that is you listen the class, how we listen in the class, like that you just listen the video and you need not take down now anything. I will send all these notes as a PDF for you to solve the problems or copy down the notes. So you just listen the class carefully children. Okay, shall we move on to the chapter now? Yes, chapter 4, direct and inverse proportion. Okay, that is your topic, direct and inverse proportion. So now first we are going to learn what is ratio. Already in your 6th standard class you could have learned about what is ratio and proportion. So now today we are going to recap that one. Okay, ratio. So let us move on to ratio. Ratio is the comparison of two quantities of the same kind. If the quantity A is compared with the quantity B, the ratios can be written in the form A is to B. What is the meaning of the same kind, children? That is, if A is in they had given it in liters means, then the B should be also in the liter, the same kind, having the same units. Then only we can able to compare. If it is in meter, that also should be in meter. So cups means it is a cup. Depending upon the unit, whatever they are given in the first quantity, the same quantity the B should have. Then you can able to compare both. Okay, children. Let us revise once again. Let us go through that. Ratio is the comparison of two quantities of the same kind. If the quantity A is compared with the quantity B, the ratio can be written in the form of A is to B. Okay, children. Now let us move on to the proportion. Let us see what is proportion. Our ratio part is over. Now let us move on to the proportion. What is proportion? When two ratios A is to B and C is to D are equal, then we say that the ratios are in proportion. If the two ratios, that is AB and CD, if they are equal, then only the ratios are said to be a proportion. This is denoted as A is to B is as C is to D, and it is read as A is to B is as is C is to D. In A is to B is as C is to D, the product of the means is equal to the product of the extremes, that is BC equal to AD. Children, you can observe the two ratios there, A is to B and C is to D. Okay. Now the product of the extremes. What is the meaning of extreme? The end. That is A and D. From the two ratios, the A and D are present in the extremes. So that one which is equal to product of the means. B and C are called the means here. The numbers which is present in between, that is the B and C are the means. What is the meaning of the product? Multiplication. So product of the mean is nothing but BC. Product of the extreme is nothing but AD. If BC and AD are equal, then it is called as a proportion. What is the meaning of equal? You have to get the answer equal. That is, if the BC value is 10 means you have to get AD also 10. If both the answers are 10, then they are in proportion. If you got one answer is 10 and the other answer is 5, then they are not a proportion. They are not in proportion. Have you all understood, children? The product of the mean is equal to the product of the extremes. Okay, now let us move on to the direct proportion. Now in your syllabus, now here in this session we are going to learn direct proportion and inverse proportion. You have both the things here in your syllabus. Now let us move on to direct proportion. What is a direct proportion? Two quantities x and y are said to be in direct proportion with each other if they increase or decrease together in such a way that x divided by y remains constant. What is the meaning of that one, children? For example, two quantities x and y. They are given two quantities x and y. If they are, how they can say it is a direct means if x increases, y also increases. For example, the cost of x is 10 they are given, mean the cost of y is 20, like that. If both get increases means then it is direct. If one gets decrease or one get increase, means it is not a direct proportion. Both the quantities should be in the, both the proportion should be in the increase, or it may be in the decrease. Okay, that is the meaning for this one. Two quantities x and y are said to be in direct proportion with each other if they increase or decrease together in such a way that x divided by y remains constant. What is the meaning of constant? Any variable we can take. X by y is a constant term, like a k, like that. Anything we can take, it is a constant. Have you understood, children? Now let us see some let us move on to the inverse proportion. Then after that we will see the examples for the direct proportion. Okay, children. Now the next one is inverse proportion. Two quantities x and y are said to be in inverse proportion if an increase in x leads to decrease in y, or vice versa, in such a way that the product xy remains constant. I think now you have a clear idea about both the thing, direct and inverse proportion. What did you learn in the direct, children? That is, the two quantities x and y are what it is, then it should be in the equal, either it is increases, both should increase or both should decrease. That is called as a direct. And what is the formula for that one? X by y remains constant, x divided by y. In direct proportion, x divided by y remains constant. But in inverse proportion, two quantities x and y are said to be in inverse proportion if either x increases, y leads to decrease, or else y increases means x decreases. So that is called as a inverse proportion. How can we write that one? The product xy remains constant. There it is in division. That is, in direct proportion, x divided by y remain constant, but here in the product xy remain constant. Have you all understood, children? Shall we read once again? Yes. Two quantities x and y are said to be in inverse proportion if an increase in x leads to a decrease in y, or vice versa, such a way that the product xy remains constant. Okay. Now let us see some examples based on direct proportion. Look at that, children. For example, if the cost of a shirt is rupees 500, then the price of 3 shirt will be rupees 1500. The price of the shirt increases as the number of shirt increases. Proceeding the same way, we can find the cost of any number of such shirts. I think you understood. The cost of a shirt, one shirt cost is 500, means what is the 3 shirt cost? 3 into 500, 1500. Here, if the number of a shirt increases, then the cost also will get increases. So this type is called as a direct proportion. When observing the above situation, two quantities, namely the number of shirts and their prices, are related to each other. When the number of shirts increases, the price also increases in such a way that the ratio remain constant. I think you understood now. I had given the example for the direct. If the cost of the one shirt is rupees 500, means then the 3 shirt cost what? Rupees 1500. So when the number of a shirt increases, the cost also will get increases. I think you all understood clear about this one. Okay, now listen. So now the ratio remains constant. Let us denote the number of a shirt as x and the price of the shirt as y rupee. Now observe the following table. Number of shirt x, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, it goes on. Okay. Price of the shirt, that is y, 500, 1000, 1500, 3000, it goes on depending upon number of shirts you are taking. So from the table we can observe that when the value of x increases, the corresponding value of y also increases in such a way that the ratio x divided by y in each case has the same value, that is, it remains constant. Have you all understood, children? Yes or no? Yes, I had given some example. Okay, now let us move on to the other part. That is, which is a constant, say k. That's what I told you. You can take the k as a constant term, that is x divided by y is equal to k. Now let us find the ratio for each of the value from the table. So x by y. So what is the cost of one shirt? 500. So 1 by 500. 2 by 1000, 3 by 1500, 6 by 3000, 7 by 3500, and so on. All the ratios are equivalent and it is simplified in the form of what? 1 by 500. So in general you can write x by y is equal to 1 by 500, which is equal to constant. So your k value is now what? 1 by 500. When x and y are in direct proportion, we get x by y is equal to k, or x is equal to ky. You can write x by y is equal to k, or you can write x is equal to ky. Considering any two ratios from the above, 2 by 1000 which is equal to 6 by 3000, we are taking any two values where 2x1 and 6x2 you take, or the number of shirts. So x and number of shirt is x1 and number of shirt is x, and 1000 you take it as y1 and 3000 you take it as y2, or the prices of y, that is the prices we have taken as y, and the number of shirts we have taken as x. So when x and y are in direct proportion, we can write the formula x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2, where y1, y2 are the values of the y corresponding and x1, x2 are the values of the corresponding x. I think you all understood. X is nothing but the what I told you, number of shirts. Y is nothing but the cost, the price of the particular shirt. Okay children. So direct variation can be found out by x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2. Have you all clear children? Yes. Now let us move on to some example sums based on direct proportion. Shall we children? Yes. Example 4.1. If 6 children share 24 pencil equally. Please understand the question children. 6 children shared 24 pencils equally. Then how many pencils are required for 18 children? Do you understand the question children? 6 children shared 24 pencils. So 6 of them shared 24 pencils. Now you have to find how many pencils are required for 18 children. How many pencils 18 children need, you have to find. Okay, shall we move on to the solution children? Yes, solution. Let x be the number of pencil required for 18 children. As the number of children increases, number of pencil also increases. So both are increasing. Therefore, it is direct proportion. What is the formula I taught you? x1 divided by y1 is equal to x2 divided by y2. That is the formula. Now let us draw a table. Number of children, number of pencil. Number of children, 6 children. How many pencils they shared? 24. So number of pencil 24. Next number of children 18. We have to find how many pencils they shared. So you take it as x. Okay, now let us go for the calculation part. So x1 by y1, you take the 6x x1 and y1 as 24 and x2 as 18 and y2, that is the x value we have to find. Let us substitute in the formula. X1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2. So 6 divided by 24 is equal to 18 by x. So multiply, now cross multiply both the thing. So 6 into x divided by 24 equal to 18. X is equal to 18 into 24 by 6. In 6 table you can cancel. 6 3s are 18. So 24 into 3, your answer is 72. So hence 72 pencils are required for 18 children. Have you all understood children? I hope you all understood. Yes. Now let us move on to example 4.2. Second example. If 15 chart papers together weigh 50 grams, how many of them same type will be there in a pack of 2.5 kilogram to 1 by 2 kilogram? We have to find. Understood children? 15 chart papers together weigh 50 grams. So how many of the same type will be there in a pack of 1 by 2 kilograms? We have to find. So how many chart papers will be there? We want to find. Let X be the required number of charts. So you draw a table. Number of a chart paper 15, weight in gram 50. Number of chart paper that we have to find, so you mark it as X. And the weight in grams, it is given in kilogram. Let us convert into gram. So you so 2.5 means what? 1 kilogram equal to 1000 grams. So you multiply, you will be getting 2500. Okay children, now let us move on to the thing. As weight increases, the number of a chart also increases. So both are increasing. So the given one is a direct proportion. Hence, what is the formula you will be applying? X1 divided by Y1 is equal to X2 divided by Y2. So 15 divided by 50 is equal to X divided by 2500. Now let us cross multiply it both. 15 into 2500 is equal to X into 50. Bring that 50 to the denominator part. You can cancel 1010 and numerator part you will be having 250. Down you have 5. You cancel it, 50 you will get. 15 5s are 75, but you have 50. So 15 into 50 you will be getting 750. So therefore 750 charts will weigh 2.1/2 kilogram. 2.5 kilogram, there will be a 750 charts. Okay children, yes, now the two examples are over. Now let us move on to unitary method. Next method we are going to learn. Here under unitary, let us revise first what is unitary method. Finding the value of one unit and then using to find the value of required number of units. This is known as unitary method. For example, the cost of 5 pen is rupees 50. They are given the question. Okay, what is the definition here given? Finding the value of one unit. So cost of 5 pen is rupees 50, I told you. So what you have to find now? Cost of 1 pen. Here they are mentioned finding the one unit. That means the particular one item, number item or whatever it is given, the particular thing we have to find. Okay, so the cost of 1 pen, how will you find now? You will be dividing. 5 pen is rupees 50, means 50 divided by 5 equal to 10. So the cost of 1 pen is rupees 10. So that is the first one. That is the definition they are given. Finding the value of one unit and then using to find the value of the required number. In case they had given you the cost of a 5 pen is rupees 50, find the cost of 10 pens. Okay, so that means what will you do? First you should know what is the cost of 1 pen. So as I told you, you will be dividing. 50 divided by 5, you will be getting rupees 10. So you found. Now next, what is the question they asked? Find the cost of 10 pens. So you multiply that, because the cost of 1 pen is 10, means then the cost of 10 pen will be 10 into 10. So your answer will be rupees 100. Okay, that is the definition they are given. Finding the value of one unit and then using it to find the value of the required. By using that particular unit, you will be finding the other required unit. This is known as unitary method. Have you all understood, children? Yes. Shall we read once again? Yes. Finding the value of one unit and then using it to find the value of the required number of units is known as unitary method. Okay. Now let us move on to some example based on the unitary method. Two examples are there. Let us revise this one. Question number, example 4.3. Anbu bought 2 notebooks for rupees 24. How much money will be needed to buy 9 such notebook? Already I gave you one example. Pen I gave. Okay, like that. Here they listen. 2 notebooks cost of rupees 24. So he want to buy now 9 such notebooks. Understood, children? So using unitary method. So what is the first one I told you? You have to find now the cost of one notebook. How will you find? By division. Okay. Now listen to the solution, children. Cost of 2 notebook equal to rupees 24. So therefore the cost of one notebook equal to 24 divided by 2, which is equal to rupees 12. So therefore the cost of 9 notebooks will be 9 into 12, which is equal to rupees 108. So hence Anbu has to pay rupees 108 for 9 notebook. Are you all clear, children? Yes, they are given Two notebook cost is rupees 24. First, let us find the cost of one notebook. So 24 divided by 2, you will be getting 12 is the answer. Now, what is the next question they ask? They asked you to find the cost of 9 notebook. So 12 into 9, you will be getting the answer 108. Okay. Now, let us move on to the other example. Example 4.4. A car travels 90 km in 2 hours 30 minutes. A car travels 90 km in 2 hours 30 minutes. How much time is required to cover 210 km? How much time now required to cover 210 we have to find. Okay, solution. The time taken to cover 90 km is equal to 2 hours 30 minutes. Let us convert everything into a minutes. So 1 hour equal to how many minutes, children? Yes, very good. 60 minutes. So 2 hours equal to 2 into 60 is equal to 120 minutes. Now they had given 2 hours and 30 minutes. So add this 120 with the 30. So you will get the answer 150 minutes. So time taken to cover now 1 kilometer we have to find. What is the 1 kilo? Now you have to divide 150 divided by 90. Then time taken to cover 210 km we have to find. So 150 divided by 90 into 210. You cancel and simplify. You get the answer 350 minutes. Now divide it by 60. You will get 5 hours 50 minutes. Hence the time taken to travel 210 km is 5 hours 50 minutes is your answer. Have you all clear, children? Yes. Now let us move on to the exercise 4.1. In today's session, we are going to do exercise 4.1 only fill up and true or false. Okay. The balance sum we will do it in the next session. So 4.1, first fill up, fill in the blanks. First one, if the cost of 8 apple is rupees 56, then the cost of 12 apple is dash. That is your question. Understood, children? Please observe the question carefully. If the cost of 8 apple is rupees 56, then the cost of 12 apples. Already I explained like this type. 8 apple is 56 means then you have to find, what you have to find? Cost of 1 apple. So 56 divided by 8. How many times you'll get in 8 table 56? 7 times. So now the cost of 1 apple is rupees 7. What is the question now given? Cost of 12 apple. So your answer is 12 into 7. Your answer is rupees 84. Okay. Now second subdivision. If the weight of one fruit box is 3 1 by 2 kg, then the weight of 6 boxes is dash. So the weight of one fruit box is 3 1 by 2 kg. Convert this mixed fraction into a fraction. 3 2s are 6. The numerator plus 1. So 6 plus 1, 7. So 7 by 2 kg. The one fruit box is 7 by 2 kg. How many, what is the weight of 6 boxes they are? So multiply 7 by 2 into 6. Now cancel in 2 table. 2 3s are 6. Multiply 7 into 3. Your answer is 21. So 21 kg is your answer. Understood, children? If the weight of one fruit box is 3 1 by 2 kg, then the weight of 6 boxes is 21 kg. Now subdivision 3. A car travels 60 km with 3 liters of petrol. If car has to cover the distance of 200 km, it requires dash liters of petrol. Have you all understood the question, children? A car travels 60 km with 3 liters of petrol. So it is traveling with 60 km with 3 liters of petrol. Now the car has to cover 200 km. So how many liters of petrol it needed we have to find. Okay, now listen to the question. 60 km with 3 liters. So we have to find for 1 kilometer how many kilometer it travels. 1 liter of petrol. Sorry children, 1 liter of petrol, how many kilometer the car travel we have to find. So divide the 60 by 3. So what will be your answer? 20. So for 1 liter of petrol it travels 20 kilometers. Okay, now you have to find if the car has to cover the distance of 200 kilometer. So divide 200 by 20. So your answer will be 10. So it requires 10 liters of petrol. Have you all understood, children? A car travels 60 km with 3 liters of petrol. If the car has to cover the distance of 200 km, it requires 10 liters of petrol. Now next subdivision 4. If a 7-meter cloth cost rupees 294, then the cost of 5-meter cloth is 7-meter cloth is rupees 294. So you have to find now the cost of 1-meter cloth. So divide 294 by 7. You will get 42. Okay. So 1-meter cloth is now cost is rupees 42. So now you have to find the cost of 5 meters. So 42 into 5 you do. So your answer will be rupees 210. If a 7-meter cloth costs rupees 294, then the cost of 5 meter of cloth is rupees 210. Okay. Now subdivision 5. If a machine in a cool drinks factory fills 600 bottles in 5 hours, then it will fill dash bottles in 3 hours. You have to find. Okay. The machine in cool drink factory, it is filling 600 bottle in 5 hours. Then in 3 hours, how many bottle it will fill, you have to find. So first let us convert for 1 hour. So 600 divided by 5. So your answer will be in 1 hour it will fill 200 and sorry children, 120 bottle it will fill. 600 divided by 5 if you do, you will get the answer 120. So in 1 hour, a machine cool drink factory machine fill 120 bottles. Okay. So you have to find in 3 hours. Multiply 120 into 3. So your answer will be 360. Understood children? I will repeat once again. 600 bottles in 5 hours. So let us find it for 1 hour. So 600 divided by 5 is equal to 120. So in 1 hour it will fill 120 bottles. Now in the question they asked 3 hours how many bottle. So multiply 120 into 3. So your answer will be 360. So if a machine in a cool drinks factory fills 600 bottle in 5 hours, then it will fill 360 bottles in 3 hours. Okay children. Now I had given the solutions at the back. The first one rupees 84. Please take down rupees 84 children. Second subdivision 21 kg. Third subdivision 10. Fourth subdivision answer is rupees 210. And fifth subdivision is 360. Already I explained this one. Question number 2. Say true or false. Subdivision 1. Distance travelled by a bus and time taken are in direct proportion. Yes, it is. True or false we have to find. Just listen children, if the distance travel by a bus increases, automatically the time also will get increases. If the distance traveled by the bus decreases, automatically the time also will get decreases. Therefore it is direct proportion. So the answer is true. Very good. Now subdivision 2. Expenditure of a family to a number of members of the family are in direct proportion. Is it true or false? Think children. Suppose you just take an example. In your family there are 5 members. So for example I am telling for per month it is expenditure means the expenses what you are making for what you are lending, that is whatever you are expense like food for a purchase of cloth like that. For the expansion is now it is 10,000 rupees. Suddenly when your relative is coming next month, he is also joining with you means then the number of a family will get increases from 5 to 6. Then the food consumption everything will get increases only, it won't get decreases. So the members increases, automatically the expenditure will also increase. If the members in the family decreases, the expenditure will also get decreased. Therefore it is direct proportion. So the answer is true. Okay. Now subdivision 3. Number of students in a hostel and consumption of food are not in direct proportion. Is it true or false children? Yes, it is false. How we are saying it is false? number of students in your hostel. So in your hostel, if the number is increased, then automatically consumption food also will get increased. Whatever the food they are taking also will get increases. If the number of students in the hostel decreases, then the consumption of food also will get decreased. So both either increase or both either decrease. So it is direct only. But in the question it is given not direct. So therefore it is false. Okay. Now subdivision 4. If Mallika walks 1 kilometer in 20 minutes, then she can cover 3 kilometers in 1 hour. 1 kilometer 20 minutes. How many minutes are there in 1 hour, children? 1 hour equal to how many minutes? Yes, very good, children. 60 minutes. So 1 kilometer 20 minutes means in 60 minutes she can cover 3 kilometers. So your answer is true. Subdivision 5. If 12 men can dig a pond in 8 days, then 18 men can dig it in 6 days. 12 men can dig a pond in 8 days. Whether 18 men can dig it in 6 days? No, of course it is not at all possible. So it is false. Okay. Now I have given the solutions at the back. First subdivision true, second subdivision true, third one false, fourth one true, and fifth one false. Okay, copy down this. Thank you, children. Today's session over with this. In the next session we will start with problems. Problem number 3. Let us continue. So don't forget, I will send you these definitions and the example sums as well as fill-ups and true or false. I will send you as a PDF. So you copy down in your max separate rough note and you send it through the WhatsApp to your concerned teacher. Okay, children. Thank you. Have a nice day.